You get, and that was just on camera. There you go. I just said, all right, let's go. Yo, welcome to another edition of Toxic is the New Masculinity. I'm your man, Terrence J. And y'all see the lineup here is a little different. Shout out to our guy, KY. So, he's handling business right now. So we had to have some fill-ins to make sure that we keep the panel going. So I'm going to start to my left. I got our girl, Titania. What's going on, Titania?
Right, Titania. Thank you for pronouncing it correct.
Well, listen,
I know, because you let me butcher it.
Oh, my goodness. You call me Tatiana, whatever.
I was just calling TT.
TT works, too.
There you go. All right, I got my man to my right. We got Bossy. And on the other side of Bossy, we got D-Walk. And on camera, our producer, the woman who runs the show and keeps all of us in line, we got Amy. What's going on, Amy?
Good evening.
See, they get a chance. They get a chance to see who cracks the whip on the other side of the camera now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got to stay in lines. I try to make sure I'm a good student because I don't want to get in trouble and go to the principal's office. I'm like this one over here, you know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately,
and KY suspended, so the producer suspended him. So if y'all ain't see KY, she suspended. So he in the principal's office, KY suspended, and I'm trying to get valedictorian, but it's all good. But listen, Toxic is the New Masculinity is just a show where we have a conversation to have a understanding on what masculinity is. Because a lot of times the term toxic masculinity has been thrown around so much that we just took it and said, let's have a play on words and say, look, if you're calling us toxic, then we're going to take it, but we're going to repurpose it and let you know that we're not toxic. And so we had a great conversation lined up for you guys today. And I'm going to have to read this off because it's kind of long and producer gave it to me. I want to make sure that I don't mess up.
He's trying to say, a woman wrote this.
Wow. Oh, wow.
You felt that? You felt that?
Let's go.
So, all right. So the topic tonight is the emotional standoff, a man's avoidance versus a woman's needs for the truth. Why men retreat while women pursue answers, and what happens when tensions become the language of the relationship. So think about that. The emotional avoidance. Why does a man avoid conversation, and what's a woman's need for truth? I'm gonna start off with this. The topic of it is funny because it is already saying that a man does not desire truth. And to say that we have a woman search for truth, like a man doesn't search for truth, or like we don't desire truth, like we don't want truth. Now, this is the thing that I have found out. I don't believe women really want the truth.
I was going to say that is a common theme with us, because what do we always say? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
We say that quite a bit.
That is y'all's cop-out way from actually being truthful. Women want the truth. I don't know in what world or what female told you they don't want the truth. We want the truth. Y'all make the assumption that we can't handle the truth.
Okay, so real situation, honestly. All right, you think now, I want you to try to look through this from a window of every woman's perspective, not just yours.
Sure.
All right, so let's be honest. There are some things women are sensitive with.
Absolutely.
Particularly about weight and looks, right? So you believe that it's okay that if a woman asks a man, how does she look in a certain attire, and he really doesn't like it, he can tell her exactly how he feels about the way he thinks she looks, and a woman wants to hear that.
I think that a man should be honest. A lot of times we've all heard the saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say
Absolutely.
it.
That's not
I agree
always
with
true.
But with us, right? I would say when you say it's how you say it, I would add to that, it's how we say it to you, like the audience you're talking to.
Sure.
But with us, I don't hold no filter with him. And that's our safe space, right? I have the freedom to exercise, to say exactly how I feel and how I want to say it. I don't have to chop it up. I don't have to shorten it.
But we're talking about two different beings, though,
Really
right?
well,
so you can't use that.
No, I
as an
can't.
example.
I can't. I could only
You shouldn't
communicate.
use it as an example.
Well, I can
right?
only communicate the way I communicate. I can only do that.
That's not true. You can always alter your delivery as you communicate to someone, right? So if you're talking to a 2-year-old kid, your delivery is going to be different than if you're
100%.
talking to your 16-year-old son, right? Who just got his driver's license or whatever the narrative is. So when Amy is making that point,
their experience levels are vastly different, right? But
okay,
with
so
you,
then let's talk apples to apples.
Okay,
Your 16-year-old daughter versus your 16-year-old son. Will your communication style be different? Will your delivery be different, or will it be the same?
My delivery will be presented upon how she'll understand it. Okay,
and how she will receive it, right?
Right. Well,
okay.
But you're still being truthful.
Well, hold on. Then let me say this. Right? You want to put the onus on me, right, and to communicate a way to you that's effective, and you feel that you reciprocate that. Because I just heard you have an exchange with this gentleman, and it did not seem like you had any inclination or desire to communicate to him the way he would receive it. You communicated the way you felt. Now I just observed that. So now wait a second.
No. So let's talk about that. Hold up. No.
Don't tell me.
So when we think about that, though, right? So you're talking about two strangers, right? We do not have a relationship. I am not in communion with him on anything other than being present at the show.
Okay.
So our dialogue before, you can't really use that. Right? Okay. But you can use.
Then somebody I'm in a relationship with, I should be more comfortable talking the way I am.
Absolutely,
right?
And you should be sensitive to how that person would receive what it is that you're saying. That's her point. It's not about you changing. The end result is, woman, you look fat, you look ugly, you look whatever. Hold on, in that particular garment, right? It is all about how do you present that to her. One of the things, I don't know if y'all ever watched The Cosby Show, but Bill Cosby said his daughter came in and she introduced her fiance to the family, right? And yeah, there you go. And father was like, it's not that you're not a good person. She brought this fine steak on a trash can lid. So our perception, how we're going to respond to you, is different. That's what we're talking about.
And let me respond to that. Right, you are assuming that I'm going to use like negative, degrading type information.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well wait a minute. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm sure any man hearing the sound of my voice, you're saying like if I see if a woman asks me a question, do I look good in this dress? Right. I have had this experience.
What did you tell her?
Of just saying, no, you don't. Now you're telling me, no, that probably is not the best way to say that. No, that's the honest truth. No, you don't. I don't think you look good.
How do you say it? No, heifer.
You look ugly. No, that's what I'm saying. You are alternate based on how you feel. I literally just told the truth, and you just made my point. You received not what I said, but how you felt.
No.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. But D Walk is making a face. So what's your time in on this?
Hi. My face was just that. Use Bill Cosby as a reference. That was just like weird. Like,
okay,
so how did Bill get into the like? That,
it was an analogy. And I got what she was saying.
Absolutely,
and jokingly, but also from humor side, but also from a serious side. Like, are we utilizing? Are we really reflecting what's honest? Right, like the idea, the concept of what was presented on a television show has normally, honestly, become the standard, and social practices have become overvalued in a different way than domestic interaction. And so when we frame our relationships based on the social constructs, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have those challenges. What I have observed is it takes a certain level of emotional maturity to understand, to listen to the words and the message first, and not over prioritize the tone and delivery of the packaging. Because when you know what it is, you understand what to do with it. A steak in the wrong place, you're not going to touch it. That's fair.
I agree with that.
It doesn't change the fact, okay, how was this trash can lid prepared? Was it clean? Was it this? Because it might be something that was especially presented for you in the proper context. So what we're talking about is the context of opinion, emotion, and actually what's happening in reality that's all clumped at one time, creating emotional eruptions and conflict overall.
Well, and I agree with that, but I think where we've gotten off a little bit was, I think you guys said women can't handle the truth.
So okay,
there we go.
So here's the thing. Yeah. So let's talk about even to the concept of boss. He was talking about weight, right? So I was dating a girl, and I told her, I said, I want to make sure that I handle this in the most gentlest way as possible, right? Because I didn't have a problem with her physical stance, even with gaining weight. It wasn't about that. Her body type, everything else, gaining weight, she still looked good.
Oh, that's sweet.
But the thing is, I noticed her confidence would fail. Her clothing would change.
Right.
The way she walked changed. Yeah. And I said, hey, this has nothing to do with me, because I still think you're fine, right? I said, but I've noticed there's a change in you that I don't like because of your weight gain. I'm not turning you down anyway from Sunday, but you're different. I said, your clothes. I said, you wouldn't have worn that a little while ago. And I said, I know that's not what you want to wear. You're doing this to overcompensate. But when I tell you, I wish I hadn't said a damn word.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she was not ready for that truth. And so the thing is that I've always said, and it is very controversial, and I get in trouble with this at home. The best relationships are built on lies. Watch this. So watch this. There's an old conversation between James Baldwin and Nikki Giovanni, right? She said, lie to me. You go to the job and lie to everybody else. You lie to the white man, you smile in his face, and I come home and I get the least. Lie to me. What's the truth matter? My wife had already got on me about saying the best relationship built on lies, and then she showed me this clip. What she didn't know is I'd already watched the whole video. But when I saw the clip, I was like, she is basically saying what I said. Lie to me. If you give him that lie, he said, I can't lie to you. And she said, why? He said, because I love you. When I come home, there has to be a space where I can take this mask off. Because here's the thing. He said, if I go down there and I give him what you say I'm giving you, I get fired. We don't eat. And so he was like, I have to put that on. I don't want to put that on. And I wish I didn't have to live in a world where I had to put that on and then possibly give you the lease. But we got to eat. We need shelter. We need everything else. And when do I decompress?
I will say this, and I'll be short, right? No pun intended.
You know what? Let me tell y'all. He has one more time to talk about my height, right? Right? Talk about not being able to handle the truth.
But to your point, right? When you were talking about how we communicate, my father always raised me say, you lie to people you don't respect. So just to your point, right? That's it's difficult. And I when I express myself, particularly to my wife or a woman that I love, right? I need to express myself for making sure you truly understand where I'm coming from. All right. And I don't have to be disrespectful, nor is that my intent.
Right.
But if you ask me a question, I should have the freedom or the space to tell you exactly how I feel with respect.
I agree with that.
Right.
So are we saying that the reason why men avoid is because you're saying women can't handle the truth?
What I say in my experience, I've been in this position a lot. In my experience, right? When I have been in spaces of when I would say something, and even I thought particularly she may take it the wrong way, I'm not willing to take that risk. I just generally don't. I'm like, well, I'm going to be quiet because overall, I don't want the fight. I want conversation and resolution. That's all I want. I don't want the fight and the animosity in between. And most men don't.
So we got to come in. So Makita said, don't lie to me. We still lying at our big old age. All right. So and the funny thing is, there are certain questions that you get asked as a man that you know what the answer is supposed to be.
Okay.
My wife says, did you miss me? No. You didn't miss me? Not really, because we've been together all day. You went to the store for 5 minutes. I didn't miss you. I honestly did. But the answer was supposed to be yes, right? Yes. And also what I told her is, you do know you trained me to lie. If you ask me a question and you ask me the same question again, you just told me that's not the right answer. Give me the answer I'm looking for.
But you know what? For a woman, right? If my husband, which I'm not married yet, put
it out there.
Be like, ain't he married?
Shameless plug. Let's add. If you do want to marry, you got to go through a review period.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You got to come sit in this seat right here.
It's not with y'all. It's with me.
So, but if my husband, if I said, hey, did you miss me? He was like, it's only been 5 minutes. I would go, okay. But then what's wrong with circling back just for the sake of her, right? I don't need it, but some women do. And say, but oh, girl, when I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to miss you so bad. You wait till I get home.
Absolutely. It's no different than men wanting us to stroke their ego when they're on top of us.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you really want to go there, we talk about lying to keep a relationship going. There are times when we have to lie in that regard.
But wait, though.
Trying to keep this on.
Yes,
don't go there.
But watch this, though. Watch this. Watch this. Here's the thing to that, though. Mm-hmm. We're not sitting up telling you not to lie to us.
Oh, we know.
We know. But y'all couldn't handle the truth.
Y'all couldn't handle the truth. No,
it would destroy your ego.
No, you talk about we can't handle what the scenario you gave us about what you told the lady. She couldn't handle all the things you said. Y'all couldn't handle us really telling you how you actually perform in the bedroom.
Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that?
Because when we don't talk to you and give you feedback, you don't perform well. But the minute we get in your head, and I mean this head, that's when you start to perform. You get to moving. We're not going to go there on this
Listen,
show.
I'm
But what I'm
listen,
saying
not
is there are moments when both sides, right? Both male and female, we lie. And we avoid the truth. We avoid telling you that you do not satisfy us. Why do you think Candy Coated Nights, things like that, all of those toys industry situations,
$1 billion industry.
$1 billion, because we're not, well, not, let me not say we. Some women are not satisfied in the bedroom, so they have to lie to you to keep you, and then they go out and purchase things to make them happy.
But she said the toy is
yeah,
a $1 billion industry, but so is the movie
That is
industry.
true.
Right.
And who consume more of that? Men. So maybe it's the same thing on both sides.
And it could be.
Because
It could be.
I was going to say, particularly like, I literally had this conversation when I say recently, not I guess there's something like that, but we were having a conversation, some of fellas with their ladies, right? And the conversation came up about men. What do they say when they're not satisfied in bed? That was the conversation.
Okay.
When that ended with a period, like from the moment it was spoken, two of the ladies there were like shocked, like, men are not satisfied.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So look at you. You are. It blew
I'm
my
not shocked
mind.
by that.
No, but what I'm saying,
A
it
lot of
blew my
women
mind
are.
when you were speaking about
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
You're saying like, well, men don't perform well. Some of them understand that, most of them don't. But that's not a male-female thing. The reason why women tend to believe that we don't have a problem is because we don't say anything, because we don't want to deal with the backlash of if we do.
I don't think it said you don't say anything. I
No,
think
I'm
we
telling-
know what the
I'm-
end result is, right? You guys wrote it, right? Women,
No, I'm
we
telling
fake
you
them a
from
lot.
experience. No,
So
telling
I'm just telling you,
experience.
it's not because we don't feel like that you don't think that you did good. We know that at the end result, when you finish and you relax, we know that you're good in that regard, right? Because ultimately you're there for that particular thing,
Let me-
right?
let me-
So women,
I'm sorry, hold on, because I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, come on with
This is something you can agree from anatomy standpoint, right? Where you are sensitive in that area. I mean, sensitive. You know what I'm talking about, right?
absolutely.
The area where you get sensitive and the area that we get sensitive, we have more control over ours than you do yours. So a lot of times,
I don't know who you dealing with.
No, sweetie, let me finish. Because I don't think you heard what I said. Let me finish. I'm saying when I'm in direct contact with you, what happens is if we are not happy, as a man, what he do? He hurries up and finish.
Okay.
And a lot of times y'all think like, okay, well, he's quick, he's fast. No, a lot of times you not hitting it right. And I was sensitive, like, because when you're just saying, when I say sensitivity level, I'm saying when we are in direct contact with you, if you're receiving, right, we have areas of if we are the offender or we're on the offense, we have areas that we can move relatively quickly to know, okay, this is my spot, I can hurry up and get finished. So that's what I'm talking about, right? I'm not.
I'm laughing at them. It's a whole thing over there. No, you're good. You're good.
I'm telling you.
No, and I hear what you're saying, right? I know we kind of got off a little bit, but at the end of the day, women lie to in the bedroom, right? And it's not fair. We avoid things just as well as men. But when we look back to the topic, why is it that men avoid things? And is it because you don't really want to handle or tell us the truth?
It's not worth it. The
It's
truth
not
is
worth it.
overrated. The
And when you
truth
say
is
not worth it, what do you
the-
mean?
Yeah.
The truth is
No,
overrated.
that's what I said earlier. Yeah.
The truth is overrated. And I mean, from a certain standpoint, like the words in truth, still the letters of truth spell out the letters of hurt, right? So the truth can hurt. I think the perception or the opinion or the emotions in response to that truth is what we're trying to soften, because the idea is that we want to be the protection, but also protection is not soft. Protection sometimes is uncomfortable. But that discomfort that exists,
There's some things that are protective
I
that
mean,
are
come on,
soft.
Yeah, the
you know?
sun always shines and the
Yeah,
rain comes through.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
those are, I mean, 6,
Right.
7, you know, right? But like the thing is, what are we trying to do? We're actually trying to protect you from yourself, because we've seen when emotional, and not literally you only just as from a gender standpoint, but I can say that with a certain level of emotional maturity, you can understand the intention because you've seen the habits, because you understand the words that he's saying, even if it may not be right, he becomes wrong. And that's hard to overcome for a person that we're supposed to protect, but also want to be loving to as well. We want to be soft.
So why is it that in that moment, right? And men tend to avoid, they tend to retreat, they back up, they be quiet. They go into another room. Why in that moment can you not say, honey, and then spell out whatever?
I don't
it
have a
is?
day to go over this bullshit, man. I ain't
Like,
24 hours on this shit.
Let me
It ain't worth it.
Well,
You want a
let me-
counselor?
No, no,
Well, no.
no,
Because I can tell you as a woman, and tell me the truth. I'm a big girl. I can handle it. Now, I may not like what you said, but I'd much rather you tell me the truth than I walk out in the world and I hear the truth from everybody else, and I come home and say, "But why didn't you tell me I was this way? Why didn't you tell me the truth?"
I agree
And
with you.
to go back to his point, he originally said the receiver, what is their level of emotional intelligence in order to be and maturity in order to be able to receive the truth. So it's not just on the sender, it's also on the receiver, right?
That's the part I'm getting at 100%. And a lot of times, it probably is not fair. It's probably not fair. But a lot of times we are made of our experience.
Mhm.
And generally, I think I can speak for all men. Generally, when we feel that we have that safe space, or when we think, I shouldn't say feel, when we think we have that safe space and we do exactly what you just said, generally it does not land well for us. And men typically are is like we're generally like, okay, if I've done X and the result of that is Y, bad, I'm not doing that anymore.
Sometimes
It doesn't make
things are
sense.
built by repetition, right?
Mhm.
If you do it that one time and stop, then in essence, you're giving your woman the exact same thing you give to the people at work, which by your words, if you don't tell the truth to that person, you don't respect them. So I'm assuming that you're saying over time you've lost respect or will lose respect for your woman if you're not able. But that's what you said earlier.
No, I'm exactly critical.
All right.
I mean, you
So
seem like you had
listen.
some
But I
else
want
going
to
on with
answer. But I'm gonna answer that
Here-
question.
Here's
I'm
that.
gonna answer that question.
So KY is on, and so KY asked, do
KY.
women make a safe space to tell the truth?
They should.
And let's
No,
talk about
not
this.
should.
But
Some
do
women,
they?
I can't speak for all women. Now I can say for
You
me.
just was a minute ago.
Listen,
No,
You just was a
She
minute
just
ago.
talked-
Generalization.
You were just
Generalization.
you were-
Don't point your finger.
I can
Generalization.
say for me, absolutely, because I want to know the truth. Now it's how you say it to me, but I may get mad at that moment, but I always come back and say, thank you so much
Why
for
get
telling me
mad
the
in
truth.
moment?
Well, because the truth hurts. We
But
all
we-
know that, but I don't
Absolutely.
block the
and,
truth.
And why? And if you get mad in a
Well,
moment,
not mad, hurt.
if you get mad in a moment, right? How do you think that the guy that's in love with you, how do you think when you get mad in a moment, what about him seeing you that way that makes you feel that he wants to continue to see you that way?
Well, and I've had this experience, right? I'm sure one thing about me, right? Communication is everything. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. Yes, that hurt my feelings, right? If somebody says, whatever, it may hurt your feelings, and that's okay. I'm an adult. But do not stop telling me the truth.
Absolutely.
Do not stop just because it hurt. Because the moment you start lying to me just to safeguard my feelings, now I'm going to view you differently because you're lying to me
And as
about
my,
everything.
and as
I'll
my
let you
protector,
finish, yeah.
restore me. So if I'm hurt, what is wrong with restoring me? If I am your woman, your
God,
wife.
this is
and
a
I-
church. This is a church conference. This ain't no damn. This ain't no damn church conference. Restore me.
I'll be honest. My opinion. I don't even think y'all being like. I don't want to say truthful, but this what you're saying to me, it's just hard for me to grasp. And I'm gonna tell you why. You're saying very beautiful words like restore me and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That sounds really good and practical in this setting.
I
right?
agree.
But in the midst of that storm, I'm going to say, how many times you get the uh-oh face? She asks you a question, and what you do is to make sure the road is safety. But you ask, "Are you sure you want me to?" Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the truth. Then I tell you. And 5 seconds later, after I'm telling you, men are sitting there like, "How in the hell did we get here?"
I agree.
Like, what the
I
hell
agree.
just
I
happened?
agree. We
Right?
do have those
And,
moments, and you're right.
and what you were saying earlier, I'm going to clarify. No, that's not just one experience. It don't have to be 10. But for us, it's like, I'm not going to keep sticking my hand on the stove. Listen, you stick your hand on the stove, you probably got once or twice you're going to do that, maybe 3 times, but you're not going to keep sticking your hand on the stove and then say,
it goes
after
back
10
to,
times, I'm going to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore.
but it goes back to
No.
your own personal integrity,
Mhm.
right? And what type of man do you want to be? I can guarantee you, if a woman is hearing the truth, the raw truth all the time, and is done in love, a lot of times there are questions she is not going to ask you anymore. She's going to stop asking you, and she's going to go to her girlfriend instead of saying, "Hey,
Well,
do
but
I
that-
look
but
fat?"
that's
She's going to say, "Do
that's a
I look?"
problem right
Little things
there.
like
That's
if
out
she.
of order.
That's
You're
completely
out
out
of
of
order.
order.
It's out of order with you not restoring me. Restore us.
You just
Give
said,
me one
you
moment.
just said if you talk to your man, right, and you ask him a question, whatever that is, and he says it in a manner that's, I'm going to say, unbecoming, that you're not feeling, right? You have literally agreed with what we said. We just told you how we feel, and our answer isn't good enough for you, so you're going to go reconcile or talk.
No, she
That's
never
not
said
what I
that.
Hold on,
said.
wait,
Not what I
let
You're not
D-Walk
hearing
go.
right.
Let D-Walk go.
So when I say out of order, my responsibility is to keep you safe. If you're needing protection, that means something catastrophic is happening that needs to be addressed in the moment. When I'm handling a situation in the moment, it's going to be different because the intensity requires a different level of consideration, right? But also this idea of restoring you, that is not our responsibility. Meaning, if you're mad because I said something to you that was to benefit you, why do you disbelieve that I would ever do something to cause you harm? That has to do with your personal opinion, your emotional instability, and your perspectives. If you believe me, the person that you've chosen to give covering to and have covering with, you think I'm going to do something to hurt you, there's nothing I can do to comfort that. I can't resolve.
You're in a lose-lose situation.
Mhm.
No,
I
no,
can't-
and that
I'm-
mentality is wrong.
listen, I'm
Lose-lose
telling you,
situation is
hear
wrong.
me out, right? I can't outgood a bad mind. If your mindset is there's no. I could do everything perfect. I can do everything the way you want, and it's still not going to be enough.
I agree with that.
So my question: what options should we identify that we don't see?
Maybe that means you need to seek some wise counsel, get under mentorship, some guidance, some guidance,
Who?
so that way another man can.
I see why men don't want to tell you the truth.
Who?
Oh no, they tell me the truth.
Ooh.
So hold up. So how do you know men don't tell me the
No,
truth?
you
Me
said
tell me the
men
truth.
or women
You
need to get
tell me the
counsel.
truth. No, I'm talking about him. So he was saying, who do you get it from? So when I say restore,
No, I didn't say who do you get it from. No.
That ain't what he said.
I didn't
what
ask
did you say?
I said, from your perspective, what options do we need to see that we don't see?
And I just said that. Get underneath some wise counsel, some mentorship,
You think
right?
we don't see
Why would
that?
it come
Hold on.
from?
Wait, is that you?
Hold,
Think we
you gonna
don't
let me
see
finish?
that?
You want me? Get
I thought you were finished.
I was not. No. So
See, that's why the man don't want to tell you the truth.
because what?
Because you about control. You about
I
conversation.
mean, if the man not gonna control it, who else is going to control
was
it?
not
Not trying to control anything. She was in the middle of talking.
Absolutely.
So you're trying to control the situation too. At the end of the day, so really, let's go back to the restoration and what I meant by that, because that's going to drive everything else, right? So when I say restore, I'm not saying from a biblical sense. What I am saying is, and let's just equate this to parenthood, when you discipline your child, right? It's not different. When you discipline your child,
I don't parent the person I sleep with.
That's what I'm saying.
oh, so y'all just want to stay on this level?
No,
Okay.
not
so
that.
when
I'm just saying the words have meaning.
they do have meaning, but for some people they can't equate it. So
we're talking together. We're talking
are
about
we?
us. We're
Because I think
smart.
you're a little defensive.
No,
Okay,
no.
so let's go back to relationship.
See what I mean?
Oh,
Let's go back to relationship.
Remember about 7 shows ago? I told you.
I love it.
when
I'm
a
just
woman
trying
gets
to tell
tired of
y'all.
the insults start coming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not
yeah.
insult.
Yeah.
You no. You
No,
came at me talking about control.
he
You
was-
came at me about all
I
kinds of
said
stuff.
you
So
try-
don't say
I said you
insult.
trying to call this-
Don't say
I
insult.
see you try to call
So at
the
the-
conversation, which is cool. But you just shot one at my man. You just
What did I
did.
shoot at him? What did I shoot you? Why you whispering to Amy? Talking to Mike.
I-
What did I shoot you with?
You just said the man was being defensive.
The funny thing is
You
this.
literally just said
The funny thing is this. Derek said, "Hey, if I
Mhm.
tell you something,
Mhm.
and I come at you in the soft way and all this other stuff you're talking about restoring,
Soft?
and he said that, and then you said, well, maybe you need to get wise counsel. He wasn't the one who couldn't receive the
he
truth.
asked. No. He said something else.
He said, what options are we not seeing?
He said, "What? And then what options do I have?" So if you can't get it from everything Amy just said prior to that, what I'm saying is maybe you should seek some wise counsel. Maybe you should speak to some other men, right, who have wisdom, who may have walked in that, who have lived through that, to give you some guidance. Since what Amy just said won't help you. That's what I'm
So
referring
what
to.
did Amy say? The core of what Amy said was what?
We would have to go back and replay it. I don't know.
Well,
So you don't remember.
I don't.
A lot of
Absolutely not.
conversation.
So how you
said a
gonna
lot.
reference what she
I
said?
mean,
You don't.
He all up in her face, so he should remember. He like,
Recapping.
look,
She's gonna give you advice that she don't remember.
She don't-
because it wasn't for me.
You know what I'm saying?
Bossy, it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Bossy, it wasn't for me.
No, I got you.
So So therefore,
I-
yeah.
but you know what
do you
she's-
remember what she said?
I
Right.
you wasn't telling me to follow it either.
So I gotta control you too.
So thank you for
Point well
sharing.
taken.
Thank you for answering that. And
Yes, you're
I
welcome.
want you to know that wise counsel, everything that you described, is what men do already.
No,
Now,
not.
hold on, wait, hold on. I
He's
just told.
right.
Hold on, here. Check
He's
me out. Hold on,
right.
check me out. I
He's
just
right.
told you the truth, and what did you do to it?
Right.
I
wait,
dismissed
wait, wait.
I dismissed it because
Right,
you
hold on,
said
wait,
it's
wait,
what
hold on.
men
One
do
moment.
already.
One
You
moment.
didn't say
But we
what
do.
some
You
men
made it
do.
as a concrete
You made it as a
statement.
concrete statement.
Right, a concrete statement would be a fact. I am speaking and sharing facts. The truth is from my perspective. I'm sharing with you that the men that you see right here,
Uh-huh.
you seek wise counsel, you communicate with others, and we do exactly what you described.
Okay.
And I will tell you that many men, I don't know the men you know, but I'm
I know
telling
a
you,
lot.
right, and I'm telling you they do the same thing. It doesn't look the way it looks for you that it does for us.
I would agree.
Which is why I was asking you from your perspective. We're not
Mhm.
saying that there's a right or wrong. I'm
Mhm.
saying if there's something you're not seeing, let us know. But I'm telling you also in response, men are doing that.
Yeah,
No.
Tanya,
So
would
I
say-
will respond to that by saying, if you say men and you're referring to the three at this table, great. I'm glad y'all do that. Not all men do that.
Okay.
So coming back to your point, if you ask a question, I gave a rebuttal, and you're saying men do that. So then what would be the next step? Then what is the next option? If we're saying you're
I got-
avoiding us.
I got it.
Okay.
I got the next option. Be able to take what the hell we say
Exactly.
and not give us a 3-day damn orientation and dissertation about that because your feelings was hurt, and then I got to come and
Or you
restore
did- or you
you,
didn't like
and
the
then you
answer.
didn't like the answer. Then you
Right,
ask me
yeah.
again. So here's the thing: you have now done the one thing that men say women do all the time. Your ass dodge accountability like they did in the Matrix. Your ass is like,
And so then to your point, then we're doing the exact same thing. If you're avoiding it, right? And then when you give it to us, we're giving you this dissertation that you don't want to hear. We're doing the opposite things to each other. You don't like it. I don't like it. We're both in the same boat, and we're both
Same boat.
guilty.
Well,
No.
Of the crime.
No.
Yes, we are.
No,
I'll let
wait,
you
wait.
cook, Bob.
Okay,
We're
so,
guilty.
okay, you're asking us basically. I'll paraphrase for most. You're asking us questions. Why do we avoid? I'm going to use the word conflict for lack of a better term.
No, it was whatever
Or-
he read.
It was the truth. It was
Yeah.
the truth. Why do we avoid telling y'all the truth? Well, it was something to that effect. Right?
yeah.
It was, why do
So
we avoid telling y'all the truth?
yes.
Right.
So to even reset,
Yeah.
pretty much the topic is real quick. It's called the emotional standoff: a man's avoidance versus a woman's need for the truth. Why men retreat, why women pursue answers, and what happens when tension becomes the language of the relationship.
Right. Okay. So our issue with avoidance, as the word you ladies use, is not an issue at all. It's the result of you hearing what you hearing with your feelings versus hearing what I said. That dynamic is what we don't want to deal with. Right.
So you
guys
said
heard
the
me on
avoidance
show.
isn't the
No,
issue. It's
no.
not the issue to you, but it's the
No,
issue to
it's
the
not.
woman.
No, but we're not. But I'm not avoiding you, right? I'm avoiding you of a situation that you can control. If you can sit there and tell me, no, I'm saying if okay, right now,
Uh-huh.
there is nothing you and I can't say to each other, right?
Absolutely,
Right.
we have that.
There is
relationship.
nothing exactly. We've established that, so I don't have to curb my tongue,
You don't.
right? But I would respect. You know, I would never
Absolutely.
say call you the B word.
You're gonna have
I
my
would
best
never-
interest at heart.
Exactly,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that's something you and I have established,
Yes.
okay? At whatever junction we are, we've established that, right? You know, whether it's the man or the woman, that generally doesn't happen. That generally doesn't happen. Like that relationship, it generally doesn't happen. But so with men, like I could never talk to you or the way that you and I carry back and forth.
Mhm.
Generally, the woman, I couldn't do that.
Right, I agree.
Like our whole thing with the gum, you know, doggone, like I can say that.
yeah,
to
you
and it would be
cannot.
fine.
Yeah, you
I
can't say
couldn't
it to
do
anybody
that.
else. Right,
Right, I could do
right.
it. So that's
So that brings up a good point. So then, from a relational perspective, how are we building that relationship?
Right.
yeah.
What are we holding each other accountable to? Are we setting these false standards, these expectations that can never be reached? Like, what are we really doing? Because my expectation of our friendship is just to have a great time and just
right.
go at each other's throat.
Mhm.
And I'm not upset about it. I think he's called me Tiny T and Leprechaun and all this other kind of stuff. And I called him Green Giant. So that brings up a great point, and that's a nice pivot. And I don't want to take over the show. I don't want to control the show. But what can we do?
You're doing a fine job.
But what can we do then to create this
So-
type of relationship
Yeah.
with our
With
mates?
So
your actual
here's the
man.
thing.
Oh,
So
he's
here's the
ready. He's ready for it. Your teeth, you have some beautiful teeth, by the way.
Thank you. Just a reflection of who I see.
Oh, that's
So-
so sweet.
Listen, stop this shit. Listen, I love the fact that the way Bossy framed the relationship, the friendship, the back and forth, right?
Mhm.
Because you said, I understand you're gonna have my best interest at heart.
Mhm.
How do we get in relationships and then forget
Yeah.
that that person has my best interest at heart? Meaning that what they say might be a harsh truth, or what they say might not sound the best to me, but that person, we'll give that to the person we don't have all of these ties
That's
with.
true.
But the moment we tie with each other, we forget that this person is
Yeah.
my person.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think I may have an answer, and you ladies definitely chime in. Because me and T, right, we're not at risk. Our hearts are not at risk.
That's true.
And I think that makes it
That's true.
easier. Unfortunately, when you get in a relationship, your heart at risk, and I think to some degree you become selfish. You become like, it's like the whole like I love you first question, right? I'm not going to say it first because I don't want to be the vulnerable one.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to say it so I can be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. It's just the being risk averse with your heart in a relationship is vastly different than in a friendship.
I know we're talking like from a very general standpoint, but a lot of it boils down to communication. Like when you first enter into a relationship, what are the communication? What's the communication platform that you guys agreed to, right? So, like for me, we're gonna sit down and talk. We're gonna talk about what our non-negotiables are. My non-negotiable is lying, regardless of how it feels. Tell me the truth. Other women may want to hear a softer version of the truth. I used to be a trauma nurse. I'm used to just rip the band-aid. Don't pull nothing
She's
off
good at
slow.
Goodness, she's good at that.
I'm like, don't pull it off slow. Like, just tell me and let's deal with it, and we're gonna keep moving forward, right? And so, I think at the heart of it, men do avoid based on them basically out of fear of the woman retracting or being mad, and now you got to hear a long sob story from her or whatever. But when it goes back to the base of your individual relationship, what is that built on?
Right.
And so the way you said that was great.
It was.
We talked about safe space, right? And Titania said earlier, men don't even know what a safe space is.
But I later came back and said I believe some men do not know what a safe space is, because we hear that a lot, right? It goes back to when y'all say, "Oh, I'm sick of hearing triggers and trauma and all that."
Men get triggered too.
They all the time.
100%.
So
Somebody's
triggers
not
are horrible.
Yeah.
You was just triggered right there.
So back to the safe space. You're
Just
right.
like
I'm
you
sorry.
said,
I
you
interrupted
knew
because
how
I
to
was like,
do
let
the
me.
trigger.
I
don't know what to say.
I wanted everybody to understand and our viewers to understand that yes, I did make that statement, and I'm woman enough to say I recanted and I changed what I said. So now you can have the floor.
Okay. The thing is, the safe space, when we are looking at, can we express ourselves? Can we tell you about us? Can we have those conversations when it's you that's the problem? Because here's the thing. Even in situations where couples go to therapy together,
Mhm.
there have been therapists that have come out and said, it's fine as long as I'm telling the man he's the problem. But that
Right.
couple stops coming when I tell that woman
Right.
she's the problem. See, accountability is this thing that a lot of times a lot of women avoid like the plague. And we're like Bossy said earlier, how did we get here? Usually he's asking that question because the thing has been flipped back and now
Mhm.
you're the problem, right?
Mhm.
So if I tell you something you want to hear,
Starts with, so what you're saying is that's no, I said what I said.
and,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
and so that's the
we
thing.
love to do that. We love to do that.
So-
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no,
I
no.
have a question, ladies. All right, hey. Are you able to hear the words? Are you able to prioritize the words I'm saying over your emotions?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
I just do it. I mean, I don't.
She's very good at it.
No.
I'm saying but I'm saying so now as you're
So
thinking
it
through like
depends
what
on-
what have you done? Okay, maybe what have you done
Sure.
to position yourself to be able to do that?
So I've been through a lot.
Wait, hold on.
Let me just start.
Testimony.
We're not going into testimonies.
You did say she looked like she grew up in the church. I mean, it's just feeding into your
Well,
statement.
I've gone through a lot in life, right? And through that, I've come out on the other side a more mature person. So I don't see things through an emotional lens. I think Ty would probably agree. Sometimes it appears like I have a light switch, right?
She does.
I can turn things on and off because I'm analyzing through my head and not my heart. My heart comes second to my head. I'm looking logically at what's happening because I've been through so much. I have a personal responsibility to ensure that I don't get triggered. It is not somebody else's responsibility to manage that. It's mine because I know what those triggers are. So, with that being said, I want to know the truth. Don't lead me blindly around and all. Tell me the truth. I am an adult. I'm an adult who has emotional maturity.
And you know what I want to say to that? We want to be able to tell the truth. See, I think that's the thing. When you talk about avoidance in the question, I think one thing you guys are missing, we want to be able to, but as the reference that Bossy said, if I touch the stove once and that response come back, our question is, how do you think I'm going to handle from here on out? I'm gonna avoid conflict.
Don't avoid it. Ask her.
You know what, Amy, listening to you and Ty, right? I'm gonna tell you something that I think you two take for granted. And it's really a compliment. I know it didn't sound that way. Start coming up. It's really a compliment.
The way you're
The way
saying
you're
it.
No, that's not. That's not.
Hold on. Just pause. What he's doing is putting the disclaimer out there just in case you receive it with your emotions and not the logic and the
But
spirit.
him doing that, he's putting us on standby.
No, because it's me and I know how y'all get.
Right? I'm not gonna do it, but y'all understand the energy. And what I'm saying is that anything less than his attention is gonna show up. So the fact that he's giving this disclaimer speaks to the fact that we're not looking to avoid it. We also care about you. So the question is, how do we care and present what our honesty is in a way that it doesn't feel like it's being used against us or that we're harming you? Because I don't want to harm you. I don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to be harmed. I want you to know you're safe. I want you to know you're protected. And so part of the idea, and maybe the best idea, but the idea is that I'm going to create a situation where you're going to believe it.
Okay. And can we put a pin in that? I want you to be safe. You finish that because it goes back to your safe space, right?
Gotcha.
He said it. You started.
I feel like I'm getting attacked. I ain't even sure what I got to say. No. I'm listening to you two, right? I'm listening to you. And I said before, all of us are a product of our experience, right? I can't speak for all men, but I think I feel comfortable in saying and listening to your perspectives. You ladies are generally vastly different than what we come across in general. Right?
I agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you for that.
We do, right? We do, because when you're saying like, "Hey, tell me the truth," rip the Band-Aid off. Right? Again, I don't know all men and I don't know all women, but I've been around enough guys in their conversation about the relationship to know that that's not typical.
I agree.
Right? That's not typical.
I'm the opposite of Amy. Don't rip the Band-Aid off.
I don't know.
Yes. So here's the thing: take the Band-Aid off of me, but I need you to do it to where I don't feel it as hard. Don't just rip it off. Amy wanted to. So I'm different than Amy, right? My emotions. So to answer your question, I'm the opposite of her, and that was a fantastic question because women are that way. So I do my emotions are not managed at the level in which they should be, and I can own that. And so when a man comes to me and says whatever that is, and he's telling me the truth, I may need a moment to get myself together, process what you've said to me. Now that's the growth, because before I would just be all of that, right? Kind of the banter back and forth. Now I need a moment. I need a beat. Let me process what you said, because at the end of the day, the heart is you care about me. We care about each other. We care about each other. But in the initial moment, it's a sting. So that sting, for most women, we respond. And that's where you get to the point where you're like, I'm not going to say anything else to her. So when a woman finally is either Amy or me, get yourself and take 20 seconds, whatever that is, then come back. When we come back, that restoration phase where we're even restoring ourselves, then I think at that point we can have a true conversation. And now it doesn't become avoidance. It becomes connection.
And so I like that, because what happens is you get to a point to where what you did was you said pretty much you're taking the reaction out. I'm taking my moment. And I think even in that moment, you got to understand there's vulnerability in us telling you the truth, right?
I can believe that.
So we're open too, because I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to make you mad. I see something and I have a responsibility. So I think in working in both ways and people watching this, how you have taken the instant response because it was a sting. Also, I think there needs to be verbal communication to say, Thank you for letting me do that. I want to process this to make sure I hear you. Because now I get a chance to restore myself because I have just laid myself out there too.
Absolutely.
And if you take it and respond, you are now throwing salt in open wounds.
Absolutely.
And so give me an opportunity to be like, okay, cool, she received that. Now, we might have a conversation later. You say, I don't believe that, or whatever the case may be. But now we're coming back to each other already closed up versus now we got both open wounds and we just spreading this thing back and forth.
Full circle.
Yeah.
That's the
Which
restoration.
is why I'm like, rip the Band-Aid. And also like day to day.
You still ain't talking about rip that Band-Aid. She was like,
because let me tell you, in me and Amy's friendship,
Yeah.
our friendship, we say some really hard things to each other.
Mhm.
We hold each other accountable.
We make
Most
each
people
other
don't know
cry.
that. We literally say to each other, can I be open and transparent right now? And that immediately puts us both on guard to say something's about to be said.
yes.
She said something to me the other day. I didn't like it at all. I was mad at her. But I took that step back the same way that I now do with the man. If you're watching, I love you. I took that moment
though.
and I went upstairs. Hold on.
Didn't run this by us.
It's okay.
She thought the Holy Ghost over here. She started doing sitting up there in my room.
So I took that moment. I evaluated what she said,
Mhm.
talked about it to myself, then called her and I was like, let me tell you what happened in that moment. In that moment, you ripped the Band-Aid off of me. I wasn't prepared for that.
Mhm.
So my response to you was not appropriate. So we have that type of relationship. And I think that as sisters, we need to also do that in our relationships with our men. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some of y'all who don't give a dang, right?
Facts.
Y'all just treat us like,
Yeah.
you know,
You're right.
whatever.
I mean, that's-
but for the men that are sitting on this panel, you don't do that.
Mhm.
And so it is unfair for us to hold you accountable to our response to you just telling us the truth.
No, that's awesome.
Because I really think that when I love that Derek stopped Bossy to say, watch what he's doing, because he was about to say something that he said, there's a possibility that can go left or right if you don't hear me correctly.
Right.
So I must set this up and cushion this blow because I don't know how you're going to hear it. Right.
Right.
So now I'm gonna say, hey, this is a compliment, this and that. And then you can also come back and say, you know what? I appreciate you saying this, but it wasn't for me for this reason.
Right.
Now there's the understanding.
Sure. Yes.
But you knew from the get-go, he had good intentions when this happened. So I think a lot of times when we have this verbal communication, one is understanding
Right.
what the intention is when it's coming off, right?
Mhm.
If I just come in and be like, man, your ugly ass and wearing that same dress
Right. Because
again,
listen, I'm
that's
ready
a
to get
problem.
in your ass.
That's a problem.
Like, who
Pause.
you talking?
Wow.
Who you
Wow.
talking to? Right.
Wow.
Hey, dude.
She
Joe-
ripped the
Joe-
Band-Aid off.
she ripped the Band-Aid right off, did she?
Wow. So,
Like-
you
But-
know, it's one. It's awesome to hear you say that, and I not that I recant. I understand the perspective of what you're speaking with restorative practices. It goes to a system that I put in place in Soto ISD for restorative practices, and which means you have to make space for that and make room for it.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about with these relationships. Is how do we make space to have honest conversation,
Right.
right?
Right.
And how do we navigate that? How do we do that together? And much of what you described, or the way you described it, Amy, was very much like a job and like a social, like a working corporate spaces, which I'm saying some of the conflict that we're experiencing is because where there was a point of separation of men in the social space and women in the domestic space, we're both in shared spaces that we're navigating almost in real time how to do that, because the technology and the society development, there's some misfires. And so one, we're working through that. That's where grace comes in, not just for the person, but for ourselves, to make sure that we are putting ourselves in the best possible position where we are safe, just as people. I think the other thing goes to, how we speak and when we speak is the idea. I'll say what I'm doing. Hey, I'm gonna say something. It might sting a little bit. Now you're prepared. That's what you talked about. Being prepared for this thing. I'm gonna say something. It might sting. Hear my heart.
Right.
Hear my heart. Look, analyze my habits, form an opinion about what I've been doing over time, and allow me the opportunity to make you smile again.
Listen,
What you
I'm
about?
smiling because we're ripping the Band-Aid, right?
I mean, why
For
did you
some
rip the
people-
Band-Aid off?
Listen,
we just
listen,
want to know.
listen.
She be ripping it.
I want to talk
But
about
listen, I get her back
Hold on,
though.
hold on.
I get
For
her back.
some individuals, I'll just say me, for example, right? when you try to set the stage, I am automatically on defense because my brain goes, just say it. Why do you have to give me this whole smorgasbord of, okay, I'm getting ready to say something, but if I say it, I just want you to know that it's coming from a good place. If I know you and you're my person and I love you and I know you have good intentions and I know it's coming from a good place, the mere fact that you have to take the time to set the stage is a problem.
Maybe he has you confused with somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Wow!
Wow.
Maybe
First
that's
of all-
what it is.
first of all,
I mean, because he should,
Wow.
because he should
How
know
did-
you.
How did we get here?
Wow. Really?
He should know you.
Ty,
He
every
should know
time
you.
I get engaged and let the guard down, you come. Every time.
Wow. Wow.
But
It's
it's
a
the
true point.
truth. Whenever, because the moment you start setting the stage, what did our body now she's a pull the band-aid off slow. I'm gonna rip it. We both were like,
Yeah, no, 100%. No, and see, I
you
felt
put us on the defense.
No,
Because
no,
he gave
I
us an
agree with you.
option.
No.
He said you might,
Yeah.
right? You should have given us an option. You should have just.
Whoa! Now,
just
now
said
there's
it.
a dictatorship.
No.
No,
Because he was like,
No, I wanted
it's
to
going to
respond.
be
I
a
think-
compliment, but you might not take it as such. When you give us that, now our head, it's like a yo-yo. Don't give us that. Just say, I do have some, kind of what she said, right? I have something to
Just
say. You
say
can do
it.
that. But when you do give us two things to fill in one sentence before, it becomes an issue.
I do that because I need you to focus on something. Primarily, right?
Go ahead, take charge. We like that. Contrary to what me believe, we really like it when you take control.
Stop talking.
Well, get your
Wait,
point out.
wait, look, hold on. You told me to
You
take control.
just told him take the
It
control.
did.
Now you're trying to get his point out.
I mean, you know,
See, you just a
you
walking
just gotta know.
contradiction.
You just got to know what we want. Go ahead.
Oh, now we have to be magicians.
You do.
In my
Right,
readers.
right.
You do.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot what I said. Let me tell you what I do. Let me tell you what I've identified what works. I am going to tell you the truth. It's up to you if you believe it or not. Because when you tell me something, I'm going to believe it. I'm not worried about whether you're telling the truth or not. It's so much other things, so many more important, significant things in my life that I can be focused on to be wondering if you're telling me the truth or not. I don't care that much. And it's all my relationships across the board. And I am so much more peaceful because if you don't believe me, I can't do nothing about it. So what?
I want to address what you said when I was giving I guess when I was trying to give a disclaimer first, right? Well, here's the thing, and I think this will put something interesting on it, right? When I talk to you two, I always go in hard. I mean, y'all know I'm joking. I
Yes, we
always
do.
go in hard, right?
Mhm.
I've pretty much set the standard. There was something coming out of my mouth, y'all know it's going to be.
We already know
right?
what it's going
We
to
already
be. Yes.
So generally, that's what the disclaimer, because I really
Yeah.
wanted you guys to know that, like, wow, like I am really, really fascinated by what you're saying, and to let you know that, I mean, however number of women are like you, it is the minority. It's not what we are used to. You know, I'm married to one of you. I mean, not to one
No,
them,
of course
but you know
not.
what
She's
I'm saying.
fantastic.
Right.
You know,
But that's what I'm saying. That, and that's in all, when it's all said and done, that's what we are looking for
gotcha.
in general. And I just believe, in my experience, in my dating experience, I just believe there are not enough of you to go around. That's basically what I was just saying.
Well,
I mean-
like Makita said real quick.
Who?
She said,
Who?
Makeda.
Makita,
Makeda? Makada?
I slid him up.
I didn't know.
That's small.
Like, I'm just,
That's small.
I'm
I'm
You could have
sorry.
been a little more sensitive with
Well,
that.
why?
Yeah,
You
wow.
just
no,
ripped the
no.
Band-Aid off.
Y'all
Right?
want the truth.
Yeah.
I want the
I mean, you
truth.
could have softened it a little bit, a disclaimer.
How would
maybe.
you like for me to give it to you?
Listen, you mean Makeda? Listen,
Casey and JoJo wrote a song.
She
about it.
already
Makeda.
said it once. But
So she said men worry about telling us the truth because we tend to weaponize the info later. She also said at the end of the day, most women don't make it safe, right?
This is true.
So
Yeah.
the thing is that and I love how we even got to the point of the conversation where you were talking about changing the responses and also the maturity of, see, a lot of times it's not about being at the destination, the maturity of saying, hey, I haven't reached this point yet, right? And the thing is, that tells me that one, you have a desire to, two, you're on your way to, right? Because now I can work with that. That's something that I can work with. So if there is a misstep where we have some type of disagreement verbally or whatever the case may be, well, then I know that you're like, hey, I'm still not done with that yet, and that put me in that spot, and then the apology can come in and we can have this conversation later. But I think what happens is that once we are in a situation of being able to figure out a person to know that we can make it safe. Amy said, if I'm with you and I know you, but Amy, you still have to hear the heart of the person that's communicating with you to say, I know you know me and I know you know, but I still care so much that I will willing to go the extra mile to say, hey, just know. So don't rush me, because there is not one thing in your life the way you process that you will want me to rush you, right? So for you to just get the point out, oh, okay. So dang, I'm trying to handle you gently, right? Because what they say, man, y'all handle us so rough. And the moment y'all handle us so rough.
We don't say it like that. We
Yes,
flip
you
our
do.
hair.
Yes, you do.
We flip our hair.
No, I hear and respect what you're saying. A lot of it goes back to the foundation, right? One of the things that I ask in my relationship, and ask it often, is there anything I can do different to create a safer environment for you? I know I create a safe environment. Is there anything I can do differently to create a safer environment? I think couples have lost sight of the foundation of communication, and they don't come back to the table and talk. You know, one of the things is literally, like, I'm a talker. I would sit up all night and talk, right? What are you talking about? I don't know. We talk about everything from the birds to whatever. But that's some of the hard questions we ask. What can I do you feel safe? Is there anything that I have done today or said that made you feel less than? Or do you feel that I want you, even though you know that I want? Like, there are questions that we ask when we are in tune, and I just feel like people have lost sight of communication.
Let me give you one quick tip, and I love that, but I'm gonna say this: when you're communicating with the guy, don't ask him about his feelings. Ask him how he thinks, because the thing is that I never ask my wife what she thinks. You know why?
That's how she feels.
She's always gonna tell me what she feels, right? And the thing is that when a lot of times I tested this out one time. I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" She said, "Well, I feel." That was the first word.
Right. I mean,
you're telling me that, right?
Yes.
So I said this, and I said, "Hey, listen, the way we're gonna make this relationship work, I do the thinking, you do the feeling." Now here's the thing. You said nice. She was like, "What do you mean? You mean I can't?" And my wife is lovely, wonderful.
She is.
But the moment I said that, she instantly said, and I was like, no. I'm saying the way God created us, I'm going to think about something in a way first. You're going to feel it. So one day I came to her. There was a situation. I used all the logic I can possibly conjure up. I couldn't figure out an answer for nothing. I walked to her. I said, "Hey, what do you feel about this? What do you feel we should do?" She said, "Well, I feel we should do this." I said, "Okay," and walked away. She said, "Whoa. Wait a minute. Where are you going?" I said, "Well, you said we feel we should do this. I'm finna go do that." She said, "That's it?" I said, "You trust my thoughts, right? You trust my logic? I trust your feelings. Let's go."
It was good.
It was such a shock to
Wise
her.
counsel.
Absolutely. Make a
counsel.
t-shirt. Make a t-shirt.
No, don't put on a t-shirt, because that's not how we do. We don't put. What I'm saying is, we don't put. That's not how we message and communicate with each other. But you as a woman, I can tell, if you saw that on a shirt, you would embody that. You would embrace it. You would wear it. You would do it. That's not how we do that. We model. We converse. We talk in very direct ways. And it doesn't look like or feel the way therapy is, but it's the process of therapy. It's expressing it and knowing where and how to do that with the appropriate people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I don't know what the last words on this. Okay. So when you talk about thinking and feeling, right? And this is for another time. Let's talk about this safe space, because if a safe space is, if men don't,
I don't feel safe.
You don't have to come back for that one. You don't have to come back for that.
He was thinking what I was feeling.
I don't feel safe. It's not. I don't feel safe.
I mean,
right. So now what happens? I don't feel safe.
But so you didn't let me finish.
Well, no,
right?
but no.
So my question is, if a man, if we're talking about thinking and feeling, you think you don't feel safe, or are you feeling that you are not safe, that we're not creating a safe space for you? So we can talk about that later, but that's my point. I want us to figure that part out, because we talked a lot tonight about safe space, and then he's constantly saying that it is your job to make her feel safe and to create safety. You've talked about that a lot. I should have wrote down how many times you said it. In any case, since you talked about it, no, it's not. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So he talked about it a lot. So I want to talk about what that is. And is that a feeling, or is that really a thought that women don't create a safe space for men?
we don't need that from you. I need you to believe what I say when I say it.
Well, stop lying.
No, hold on. But
I
if
want to
you-
go
if
back
you
to what you
believe
said.
it-
I'm honestly, when you said that as I was thinking about it, I really don't know if it's a thought or a feeling. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay.
I have to think about
And that's what
that
I'm
for a minute.
concerned with, because I really
And
want to know. Like,
yeah,
it's a big thing in conversations that we have with couples and other women and other men. Safe space always comes up. Men are
Yeah.
always saying, "You don't make me feel safe. I don't feel
But-
safe."
Okay,
But-
so
yeah.
last thing out, because I want to close it out with this. All right. So if you think about how the safe space conversation comes up all the time, men say, "Hey, you have to make a safe space," right?
Mhm.
Because men are bulls in china shop. Your feelings are the china. If I walk in, I'm a big being. If my tail knocks over something and that feeling splatters, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I move on again. Boom, hit another one of your feelings. Boom, I'm sorry. And next thing I know, your feelings are just exploding all over the place. You know what that bull will do?
Need to lose weight.
And that.
She
I mean, I
she can't help
I just
herself.
had to give
She
it.
cannot.
I mean,
I'm waiting on the show
She
for
cannot-
toxic is the new femininity.
Yeah, for real.
Help
Let's
the
go.
thing-
Let's
but the
run
thing
with it.
the thing is,
I get your
that
point.
bull
I
will
get your point.
start to try to shrink itself because you have not made space for me to be in this space, because your feelings are all over the place
Mhm.
and I am coming in just as me, no harm, no ill will. But if every time I move, I'm knocking over something,
Yes.
I will
good.
get still
That's a
and I'll be
very
still.
good-
that's
So when we ask for space to be made, we're saying, "Hey, can you take your feelings, move them back just a little bit so that I can be who I am,
That's
and
good.
then we can deal in
That's
this
good.
room."
So we
That-
need to
that-
talk about
that's
that.
right.
That we can
That's-
dig deep in that.
That's you articulate very well what I meant when I said I don't know if it's a thought or feeling, because when he first came into the China class, I thought it was cool.
Mhm.
The explosion or the repeated explosion of your feelings your emotions made me feel I gotta shrink
Right.
myself.
So it's
So that's what it's
twofold.
about.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I
That's
wasn't.
good.
That's good.
And also,
That's
also, not so much even as you feel, it made you think that you had to do. You know why? Because you use logic. Logic is when I move, this falls. Stop moving.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
you
I can go in on this.
you're always thinking first, and you say, "You know what? What's the best result? What's the logic? A, B, C, 1 + 2. Okay, let me
Change
do
the
this."
direction.
And then there we go. And so now you say, and then watch this. I'm either going to back out of this shop.
That's right.
That's when y'all say that we're avoided. Or I'm going to come in and say, "I don't give a damn about none of this shit." And
Just-
and then all of a sudden now I'm destructive. I'm mean. I'm this. I'm that. So what happens is, the way that we make this happen is you recognize the size, the girth, the everything of me coming in. I knew you was about to do that.
What did I do?
Your face you made the moment it came out
He's
about.
been making faces all night.
We ain't talking about
He
him.
has been making
Stop
faces
running
all
from
night.
accountability.
That's
This is on you. That
I'm
is
just saying, if
You
you're gonna point me
deflected.
out, you're gonna point us all out.
deflection. Is that deflection? Is that not the
Toxic
class?
is
Is that what
masculinity.
deflection? Listen, hey, this
Look,
is been
y'all say that in the Bible. Adam said, "What? Me? It was
And,
her."
Yeah.
and that's exactly why y'all avoid. It goes back to Adam.
stop. And that's
That's
why
the
y'all
next
avoid
show.
accountability, because it goes back to Eve. You don't like shame, so you
We
do
don't
everything.
like
you
shame. That's a good
Exactly.
one. We
Yes,
don't like
we
shame.
don't like shame.
We don't.
So you know what? This has been a great show.
It has.
Amy, thank you so
I'm
much.
coming back. I'm coming
D
back.
Walk, I appreciate you for being in here. Bossy, my guy. Titania, thank you
got
so
it.
much
Yes,
for
yes.
coming in. You know what? I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation on toxic against the new masculinity. A lot of times we just have to figure it out. And if we are able to have conversations, understand this, we can argue the what all day long, but it's not until we find out what the why is that we can get an understanding. So we'll see you guys on the next episode of Toxic is the New Masculinity.